So in the 1930s, the German government launched a massive data processing operation to categorize all their citizens based on race, religion, gender, sexuality, and all these kinds of things. And to do this, they used tabulating machines and punch cards. These punch cards had text so that people could read it, holes for the machines, and a unique identifying number so they knew which punch card related to which human. So when they started sending prisoners off to concentration camps and everything, they started tattooing this unique ID on their wrists, on their forearms. And this is one of the early examples of what people can do, misuse of personal and private information to do really, really bad things. So we should be always suspicious of who has this information on how to identify us. But we still need to be identified. When you go to a bank or a post office, they ask you for the 100 points of ID. What's your driver's license or a Medicare card or a credit card or something. And if you go to a online store or online service, you have to type in a username and a password. And often you forget what this username and password is, so you go through a whole process of secret questions and answers and to make sure that your password is remembered back to you. If you are not online, but you have to call in, like you sometimes have to do for your utilities or telephone service or something like that, they ask you for your details, like your date of birth and your income, and also the same secret questions and answers. These are the same things that I use to identify you. So we actually need to be careful as to who has this information that can identify us. It's just not just the government, but all the other services that we use, like Google, Facebook, Yahoo, anything else that can have some information that can identify us. So I thought I was pretty safe from all of this. I was using various email addresses to stop getting spam and all these kinds of other junk mail. And I had created all these profiles for, within Sydney Morning Herald, for Sony PlayStation, Nintendos, and all this kinds of stuff. And I thought I was safe, but I was wrong. In the last couple of years, there have been some significant breaches on these social sites. And then I realized that my data had been released out. And I also realized that the data that had been released out included these secret questions and answers that I had been using for all my other things. So somebody out there who had enough information about me can actually now call Telstra and say, "Hi, I'm Mahesh Markus. This is my mother's maiden name," and pretended to be me and rack up multiple numbers of phone calls. So I also had a look at the law about this. All the laws that protect privacy and data deal with preventative actions. Tells who can access the information, what type of information can be stored, where it can be stored, and so forth. But if you're a victim of this type of identity crime, you're already paying the price because your reputation suffers. So I took some time out and went through some government sites, which are actually surprisingly quite good, to identify how I can protect myself a little bit better about this. So there are some questions about what is privacy information. That's personal information about you. And it includes about what you do, who you hang out with, and how you behave. And that's the kind of information you put on Facebook and Twitter and all this kinds of stuff. And I also had a thought about where and who has this information that I give out, and where I need to prioritize these things. So I took a step back from the ledge and went backwards and just prioritized who do I need to give this information to and who doesn't really need to have that information. So I looked at the utility bills, the government, the tax office, the bank, and I went through all these sites and changed my secret questions and answers along with the passwords and other personal details. Made it so that anyone who knows me can't really just pretend to go and pretend to be me and fake my ID to my detriment. But I still needed to be a bit anonymous on the web. Sometimes you do need to do that. And that's why I created an unofficial me, a completely different profile, completely different secret questions and answers, nothing linking me to the actual person that I am here. But there are a few don'ts, and you shouldn't try to use this to do something illegal, like use it for an internet dating profile and add to those profiles perils that Liz was talking about earlier. So what can you do to maintain this kind of security? One is to be a little bit paranoid. Be paranoid about who you give your information to and who can have access to your information. And you also realize that sometimes you need to be more secure and less secure. So you need to give stronger information to where it's most sensitive. Like the bank, you probably have a different set of secret questions and answers. And for Sydney Morning Herald, maybe not. And you can also select, you don't have to be legal. You don't actually truthfully answer these secret questions and answers. You can throw them a curveball and give something different. So finally, what you need to do is review all your identity and know where it is. Review it often. Change it when you have to and change it often. And then relax and have a beer and take a chill pill. And just you can buy me one as well and help with the fundraising. Thank you.